Hello, welcome back to Desire Dialogues, the podcast where performance dies, pressure gets unpacked, and your pleasure steps into the spotlight. I'm your host, Lauren Goyette, sex and relationship coach, communication translator, and your reminder that chemistry isn't something you're just lucky to have. It's something that you can actually build and nurture. And today, we're talking about one of the most underrated and misunderstood skills in desire dynamics, which is mirroring energy. Sorry, let me wake up a little bit here, right? Mirroring energy. So it's not playing games. It's not like matching silence with silence in a petty standoff, but intentionally responding to your partner's pace, to their energy and presence in a way that creates chemistry instead of confusion. And not just your partner, also if you're out on a date, absolutely. So welcome to my new listeners. I'm really happy to have you here. And I hope today you're in for a treat. So if you're feeling out of sync when you're on a date or with your partner, if you're always the one initiating, for example, or if you've ever felt like you're coming off a little too strong, or if you shrink yourself, right? This one's for you. So what is mirroring? Let's define it first, right? So when we define it, mirroring is actually when you consciously reflect the energy someone's given off to you, right? Like their tone, their tempo, their attention. And in that way, it actually creates rapport. In desire dynamics, this actually will help regulate erotic pacing. And then it's what helps you avoid that, one of us is hot and the other is cold. But here's the kicker. Most of us either go a little too far in one direction, right? We either overcompensate or we withdraw instead of just mirroring who's in front of us. So, when that person is slow to connect or nonverbal, you either push a little harder, right, to get that response, or you shut down to protect yourself, right? And neither of those crave intimacy. Neither one of those is going to bring any attention and energy to the conversation. So mirroring is going to say, well, I'm not just going to match your tempo, but I'll invite us both somewhere new with the energy we create together in this conversation. So let me give you a few examples of energetic mismatch, right? And what you can do about it. So how about mismatched one? Example is you're initiating sex when he's totally in his head. And instead of pushing, you can say something like, I'm sensing you're not really fully here right now. You want to take a few minutes and come back to this together? Another example is you're deep and reflective, right? But he's light and a little distracted. Instead of getting irritated, you could mirror this lightness, right? And then briefly invite the depth in. You could try, you're giving playful energy right now. Want to match that with something later in bed? Number 3. Maybe there's you're shut down and then you're waiting for him to magically figure it out, right? But instead of disconnecting, if you try mirroring his tone with neutral calm, then layering it in clarity. So you could say, I know we're both kind of quiet right now. Can I share something that I've been wanting? So it's not about pretending or performing. It's kind of like attuning, right? Attunement, which is really one of the sexiest relational skills of all time. So why mirroring isn't manipulative, right? It's going to be emotional fluency, okay? And a lot of times when I say mirror, I know some of you listeners will be like, okay, well, I don't know. I kind of want to be myself though, right? But when we're trying to be on the same wavelength, when we match energy, it makes it easier for somebody to be in that wavelength with us, right? Otherwise, you get somebody who's a really, over-exaggerated, high-strung type of energy and somebody else who's chill, right? They just smoked a blunt type of energy. They're chilling. So you know what I mean? Sometimes people are like, well, that's manipulative. That's not really you. Here's the difference. Manipulation is about control and mirroring is about connection, right? It's about attuning. It's about kind of adapting to what their vibe is that day, right? Their little wavelength. So you're not tricking someone. You're just tuning into their state, meeting them there, right? And then gently guiding them towards a shared energy that you make together. So I hope that makes sense. When we do this, it builds trust, builds chemistry, and it makes somebody feel safe and actually turned on and want to see you for another date and stuff like that. So there's a simple script, okay? So mirror, then invite. So this can be for tonight if you want. So first off, if you notice their mood, right? You can tell, if they're a little low energy, if they're playful, if they're stressed, distracted, then name it gently, right? For example, you seem a little quiet tonight. Mirror that tone briefly, right? So you match softness with softness. Excuse me. So if it was like someone was quiet, I'd be like, hey, yeah, you seem a little quiet tonight, right? It's a little aggressive. Or I could be like, oh, you seem a little quiet tonight. A little bit chill, right? So you mirror that tone briefly and you match the softness with their softness, right? You're going down to their level or going up to their level, whatever's happening, right? And then you can invite something new, right? Hey, you want to put the world away and come cuddle with me for a few minutes? This gives them the, time to shift instead of feeling forced into the energy. And it's just these little things. It's just one simple trick to maybe pay attention to. Notice how you can match. Notice how you can mirror. And notice that it will make them very comfortable and more responsive to how you approach them when you reach them in the energy that they're already in. So, yeah, if this episode helped you see where you maybe have been over pushing, over functioning, or like going fucking quiet, right? Instead of staying connected, I want to hear about it. Let me know about your awkward conversations. I love when that happens. Feel free to DM me on Instagram at Lauren Coyette. And like, what energy are you noticing in your relationship this week? Or what energy are you noticing when you're on dates that you may have a hard time mismatching to? And then what are you choosing to mirror instead of kind of fight at it instead, right? So you don't have to carry all the energy, my friends. You just have to meet it and then invite it somewhere deeper, right? You can do the little reroute slowly, gently, with like nice guiding energy. So thank you so much for listening to Desire Dialogues. You're not too much. You're just ready to feel met. Let yourself receive the energy that you want, right? By first noticing the energy you're in and noticing the energy that they're in. And this is not just for, romantic relationships or people you're interested in with dating. You can do this with every conversation you have. And as always, remember, my friends, pleasure is your birthright. And I will see you next time. Oh, also, check out my resources in my link tree. Check out this sensual archetype quiz. Oh my God, super fun. People have been having a blast sharing those results with me, and I love to see it. They're like, oh, I'm a romantic. I'm like, duh, I could have told you that, but they obviously didn't know, right? And it's fun. Then they make their partners take it, and it's interesting. It's just a little different way to like kind of see yourself. So if you're looking for more pleasure, more tips, more skills to put in your tool belt, I got you. The Pleasure Collective is for you. It is a 12-month membership, but you can pause at any time and then resume, and then you build your personal user pleasure manual. Get complete insight, clarity on what turns you on, what turns you off, and the way to talk about it. You're going to learn a lot about yourself, radical fucking self-love, and really taking responsibility for your sexuality. All right, my friends, until next time.